Alright, so for section 5.2, we are going to go over a few of the definitions. Weekly pay, that's 52 pays per period. Bi-weekly is every 2 weeks, so that's 26 pays. Semi-monthly is paid twice per month, so that's 12 times 2 is 24. Monthly would be 12 paychecks per year. Direct deposit is where your paycheck is auto into your bank. Okay. Hourly amount or hourly rate is a set amount per hour. Regular hours, those are for certain jobs. You may have full-time or part-time, but some employers require a set amount of weekly hours. Okay. Overtime hours are anything over your regular hours. Overtime hourly rate, okay, typically it's time and a half or double time, so it's 1.5 or it's 2 times the amount of hours, so you have time and a half or double time, it's called. Gross pay, that is your total pay, okay. And gross pay is also nothing is taken out of your check. So you basically take your hourly rate times your hours, and that's your gross pay. Minimum wage is the lowest hourly rate. And that's set by currently state standards. There is no national minimum wage at the moment. Okay? All right, so for a few examples here. Yoko is paid semi-monthly. How many fewer checks does she receive in a year compared to someone who is paid weekly? So semi-monthly, you divide that by 24. Okay, and weekly you would divide that by 52. Okay, so in comparison, 24 versus 52, that's going to be 28 more checks. Cynthia's semi-monthly salary is $1,371.50. What is her annual salary? So semi-monthly is twice a month. So you're going to take $1,371.50, multiply that by 24 for semi-monthly, and that gives you an annual salary of $32,916. CL gets paid bi-weekly. Bi-weekly. So that is 52 divided by 2 gives you 26. Her bi-weekly salary is $1,763. So you're going to take 26 pays times $1,763.28. That gives you an annual salary of $45,845.28. Ralph earns $72,000 annually as an architect and is paid semi-monthly. Alice also earns $72,000, but she is paid bi-weekly. Okay, so semi-monthly, remember, is twice a month. So you're going to take $72,000 divided by 24. In comparison to Alice, who's bi-weekly, that's $72,000 divided by 26. So how many more paychecks does Alice receive? 24 compares to 26. That would be 2 more paychecks. What is the difference in pay rounded to the nearest cent? That's where you actually do the math. 72,000 divided by 24 gives you 3,000. And 72,000 divided by 26, that gives you $2,769.23. So if you just subtract those, that would be $230.77. Okay. Number 5. Justin is a golf pro. He works 8 months per year and is paid $76,000. During the winter months, he teaches golf privately and earns another $12,500. What is his average monthly salary based on his yearly earnings? So add up the 8-month salary plus the private salary. So $76,000 plus $12,500. Okay, and divide that by 12 to find out his average monthly salary. When you do that, you should get approximately $7,375 per month. Number 6, Hector works in a gas station and earns $8.60 per hour. Last week he worked 29 hours. What is his gross pay? So $8.60 per hour times his 29 hours gives you a gross pay of $249.40. And that's before you take any taxes out. We haven't gotten to taxes yet. Number 7, Lynn regularly works a 40-hour week and earns $9 per hour. She receives time and a half for each hour overtime she works. Last week she worked 43 hours. What is her regular gross pay? So first thing you do is you want to work at the 40 hours. So you're going to do 40 hours times $9. That gives you a gross pay of $360. Now she worked a total of 43 hours. So anything over 40 gives you your overtime. Okay. So what was her overtime rate? And she gets time and a half. So you're going to take your $9 and you're going to multiply that by 1.5. The 1.5 is your time and a half. Times by 1 is your full rate. Times the 0.5 part gives you the half. So time and a half. So your new hourly rate is going to be $13.50. That $13.50 is going to be for everything over 40 hours. So since you worked 43 hours, that's 3 extra hours. So 3 times the new rate for the time and a half of $13.50 gives you $40.50. Add the regular pay, which is $360, plus the overtime pay, which is $40.50, to give her her total weekly pay of $400.50. Number 8, Tom earns $12.50 per hour at Yankee Bowling Alley. He regularly works 40 hours per week. He is paid time and a half for each hour of overtime work. Last week he worked 42 hours. What was his gross pay for the week? So 40 hours times his rate of $12.50. Okay, that's $500. Okay. Then he worked 2 hours of overtime. All right. So you're going to take your $12.50 times your 1.5 to find your overtime rate. Okay, so $12.50 times 1.5, and you're going to multiply that whole thing by 2 because it's 2 extra overtime hours. That gives you $37.50 of overtime pay. Add the two together, $537.50. Okay, number 9. Colby and Cheryl work in different local supermarkets. Colby regularly earns $8.90 per hour, and he is paid time and a half for each hour of overtime. Cheryl regularly earns $7.10 per hour, and she's paid double time for overtime. Who earns more for 1 hour of overtime? Okay, so they both work 40 hours. Okay, so let's use 40 hours as our regular example. All right. So 40 hours times, we'll do Colby's, which is $8.90. That gives you a salary of $356. And for Cheryl, if she did 40 hours times $7.10 gives you a salary of $284. Okay. Now if we worked 1 hour of overtime, so you're going to take your $8.90 rate, and for Colby it was time and a half, so times 1.5. That's your rate, and you multiply that by 1 hour of overtime, so times 1. That gives you an overtime pay of $13.35 for a total of $369.35. That's Colby. Cheryl, on the other hand, she gets paid $7.10, so $7.10, and she gets paid double time, so times 2. Multiply that rate by your overtime pay of 1 hour, which is $14.20. Add that up, $298.20. So the question was, who earns more for 1 hour of overtime? Well, Cheryl earned more for 1 hour of overtime at $14.20. Okay, so you're going to do your $14.20 minus your $13.35, which gives you a difference of 85 cents. Okay. Number 10. Michael earns $10 per hour and works 40 hours per week. How many overtime hours would he have to work in a week for his time and a half overtime to be greater than his regular gross pay? Okay, so you're going to take your $10 per hour. You're going to multiply that by your 1.5 for your time and a half. Okay, and then you are going to multiply that by a variable. We'll call it X, for example. When is that going to be greater than or equal to your regular pay, which is 40 hours times $10? So when I work this out a little bit, all right, this side I'm going to get 400. And on this side, you're going 10 times 1.5 is 15. 15 times X then is 15X. When you solve it, you divide both sides by 15, and you should get X is greater than or equal to 27 hours. So that's the big difference in this class. We're going to use these financial topics, but we're going to give them that algebra twist, and that's why we're coming up with an inequality here. Number 11, Melissa has bought $2 lottery tickets every week for the past 20 years. This week she won for the first time of $2,000 in her state lottery. Compare these winnings to her total investment and explain if the lottery is worthwhile. So $2 every week. So there's 52 weeks in a year. So 2 times 52 gives you $104 per year. Now take $104 per year times 20 for 20 years, and that gives you a total amount spent of $2,080. Okay, so she spent $2,080 and she won for the first time of a prize of $2,000. So clearly she has spent $80 more than she won. So is that a good investment? That answer would be no. Okay? Again, you can rewind the movie, go back, but you are supposed to fill out these notes and then refer to the Canvas page for your homework.